Hello and welcome to class. I wanted to show you around how to navigate the tabs and just to get started in this class. So hang out with me for just a little bit. So you'll get to your Blackboard shell how you normally do that. I do that from my ACTC webpage, and if you're on a different campus, I'm sure there's a click for the Blackboard link from your main web page. So once you get to Blackboard, I click on my courses. I have 5 courses I'm currently teaching, and we're going to talk about the Math 110 online course. So when I click on that, I'll see tabs down the left-hand side. There's one that's viewed out, so that one's hidden from students, you can see, but everything else should be the same thing you see. The first one is announcements. I do try to keep you up with announcements as I think of things that I'm concerned about, that I notice I'm getting questions about. I'll try to make an announcement and just general advice as we go along. But actually everything you'd ever want to know is in the Start Here tab. So all your questions can probably be answered there, but I love emails and I love for you to communicate with me. Sometimes it feels like you're not really there if I don't hear from you. So feel free to send me emails or call during my office hours and we can talk about things. But like I said, all the main details of the class are listed in this Start Here tab. So there's a little intro about myself, and you'll have a place to introduce yourself as well, and I encourage you to do that. Then navigating the tab is actually the tab that we're in now, how you go through the course, and so I will link it here as well, but I'm sending this to you in an email or an announcement. You'll see it at first, but that way you'll know how to get here and what all this is about. Then we have the syllabus. So this is a big deal. So we got the syllabus that tells you what % your homework is worth and your testing, your quizzes, and all the legalities of the course. Then what I think is the most helpful thing on the page is the class schedule. So I find this to be the most helpful thing. I like a calendar, I like details, so I've tried to line this out with everything I could think of and the dates there. The course competencies you can see are listed at the bottom, and this is what guides any course you're in should follow this list. This is what we're required to know at the end of this course, and that also helps with transfer. If you would decide to go to another college, they look at this list of competencies to see what it's most similar to in their numbering system. So that's real important, and I take it seriously. So I've tried to pick assignments that go from those competencies, and you can see the competencies listed along the right hand side, and that's why that's there, to let you know I didn't just come up with this in my sleep and say I want you to know this, but there is a list of rules I'm to follow. So you'll notice that the class is topical. We'll be on chapter 1 to start. That seems normal, but then we'll do section 5.6, and I'll call that module 1. Module 1 is chapter 1 and 5.6. 5.6 is scientific notation and the exponent rules, and it's again from your competency list. Chapter 1 is problem solving. Those together, there's 4 sections actually. Those 4 sections make up module 1. And all of that homework and the first quiz is due by September 3rd. So I think it's just kind of nice to see all of your dates listed. They're also listed inside of your math assignments, so they're listed in multiple places. I just think this is a handy thing. I might want to print that off and just keep that with my organization method. All right, the first thing that is due, though, here along the top, the week of August 19th, is the syllabus quiz. So the syllabus quiz, I'll show you where that's at in just a little bit, but it's due by this first Friday of classes, just to let me know you're out there and that you really plan to take this class and you know you're enrolled. If I don't hear from you, we have this thing called a no-show policy, and you can be reported as a no-show. So especially in online, we need to know you're there somehow. So the syllabus quiz helps me to do that, and then you should get started in your first module during this first week. All right, so then we skip topics. We go to logic, which is an interesting but different thing. You may not have seen this in other classes that you've had in math classes in your past, but so it's a different topic. It's not just all algebra, you'll notice here. Then chapter 6, the third module, it is algebra. You do a little bit of algebra, a module in algebra. Then we go to the metric system. Over here you can see, and that's all the material. 1, chapter 3, section 5, 6, chapter 6, and chapter 7. Up through the metric system. That makes up the first half of your course, and We'll try to complete all of this by midterm, the first half, and we have a fall break, which I love that we still have a full week of break for this class. You can take that break or work ahead, and then you will have a midterm exam due by October the 25th. Most of your due dates, you'll notice on the other side, they're on Mondays, but this one is on a Friday, so just pay attention to the calendar. I'm just drawing your attention to that. Then Chapter 8 is a little geometry, just 2 little sections. Chapter 10 is business math, and Chapter 12 is statistics. So like I said, very different sort of class. It's topical instead of just all algebra. We move around topics. Then December 2nd, which seems so long from now, but it'll be here before you know it, we'll start reviewing for the final. I encourage you to be reviewing all along, to have good notebook, good organization, so you'll be able to have a good way to look back into all the things you've learned. I think that's very helpful. So that's the number one thing I would encourage here, is keeping good notes. All right, so just want to draw your attention to that. Then you will take a syllabus quiz, like I said, by the end of the first week, just as soon as possible. But there are 12 questions that pertain to the syllabus. So I ask you to acknowledge that you read the syllabus, and that's kind of our legal agreement for how the class rolls. So there's a link here. There's other ways to get to the assignments, but there is a link given here in the start here. E-learning orientation, if this is your first online class, I definitely encourage that. This is my schedule, the best times to reach me. This is the school calendar, and then lots of resources and links here. I really like this link, Student Support Services. Many of our students at Ashland Community Technical College use our student support services and find it so helpful. Their support. So it's tutoring is what we hear a lot about. They do that, but many other things there to help you as well. And every campus has this, so I'm sure all campuses equally have wonderful services. So pay attention to that. That is for you. I know sometimes when we're online, we might feel disconnected from the home campus, but you're just as much a part of it as anyone else. So you get to your home campus and take advantage of services that are offered. So I wanted you to know that. And other services, disability services, if you need to contact them, library, all of our services are encouraged for our online students. So don't forget that, please. So that's your start here, the nuts and bolts of the class. And then content, well, this is maybe what I would call more nuts and bolts. So the other is like the details and the things, the questions you may have about how it flows, and then the actual math that you're going to do is in content. Now, you can link other ways, like I mentioned earlier, but it's laid out on Blackboard here for you to be able to be clickable to get to whatever you need from this from these links. So, like I said, we do a module method. We have 7 modules. Most of them are just chapters, but Module 1 had that little section 5.6 included. So Chapter 1, which is 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3, problem solving. Then Chapter 5 is just section 5.6, scientific notation and exponents. So what I really, really, really want you to get here is you should always start by emulating the class setting. You need to attend lecture before starting any assignments. Many of my students in the past will want to just jump right into the assignments and just see if they can knock that out without attending the class, sort of. And yeah, you might be able to do that, but you miss some of the understanding that helps you make sense of it and keep it in your long-term memory and make sense of it to do the later assignments. So I find as a teacher, I'm promising you, it is critical that you start with the lecture first, read the book, view some videos, whatever method works for you best. Do some pre-work before you jump into the assignment. And I promise that is time better spent. It will be more efficient. So we want to know that you've done some of this. You can do it by reading the textbook. I'll show you where to link that in a minute. Watch some videos. There's video lectures. Some are listed below. I'll show those in a minute. There are PowerPoints and other supplements. So you find what works for you, but make sure you take your own notes as you go. Get some sample problems in there, highlight the main ideas, and keep those organized, and it will pay off in the end. Now, my personal videos are, scroll down, you'll see this is me, and some of the videos I've made in my class lecture. So I teach this class in person as well, and I've just uploaded some of my class lectures. So you'll see those, but if you click here, where it says click here, you'll also see this is where your textbook information is, and more than you could ever want to know about every chapter you'll find listed here. You may not read every single one of these links, but find what works for you and watch as much as you can. So this first link was the actual textbook. So this is where your book is found. Like I said, linked in other ways as well, but you can page through it or it's searchable over here. So you'll notice these icons. This is section 1.1, the textbook icon, 1.2, and 1.3. Those are the 3 sections of chapter 1. Then we have videos, and I think these are very helpful videos. So these are the book slicker. They're a little nicer quality maybe.
Algebraic expression when x equals 20. That means that
so you can take advantage of those. For each topic that's in the required material, you'll find some videos. So the more of those you can watch, that will help you. That will definitely be helpful. And the same thing when you look at chapter 5, it takes you to the textbook 5.6 that we do, and then some lecture videos. So do that first, then go into your homework. You will take, there are links here, homework 1.1, and you'll see there are 10 questions. You'll work your way through, and there's helps in there as well. So if you do have trouble working the homework, there are guided solutions and view examples, lots of helps. So you'll do those 4 sections of homework. Then quiz 1, when you click on quiz 1, that one is a test, a quiz, so there will not be any helps in it. So you're kind of on your own, but you can look back at your notes that you've been keeping, and that can be helpful to you. All right, so that's how it'll flow. All the modules kind of look like that. Module 2, Module 3, so on. Then we'll have a midterm exam after you've finished the required modules. There's a study guide, a couple of study guides. This is the official one. Link. It's a monster, so I do apologize, but it helps wrap up all of the material and review. And then when you take the midterm exam, you'll have 120 minutes. You can take this twice. Notice, and all that's given in the syllabus as well. You can start the test just right away. There are 40 questions. I take the higher score. So that one is not proctored. You can see there's no password needed. Okay. Now, the final is proctored. So that's kind of a major question I get. After you finish all the modules, you'll take your final exam, and it is comprehensive, everything that we study in the class, and that's why the good notes is really helpful. There's a big study guide to help you kind of pull it all together, and information about that here, links to the study guide. And then when you take the final, you'll notice you need a password. So I sent this super secretive password to your proctoring centers across KCTCS, and they will know that, and they will know your guidelines. You can use a note card, and so I have all that listed when you need to know that. All right, so just know that it's kind of how the class flows. You have a communication link. That's where you can get your emails there. There is a discussion board, so if you'd like to introduce yourself there, I think it's kind of nice for the class to get to know each other who's in there. There is a place to post questions so you can kind of dialogue with each other. And I've made a note here, if I forget to check the discussion board, make sure you email me, because I'm not as good about checking here as I am my email. But I hope you'll talk to each other there. Your grades, your grade link, I use the MyLabs Plus program for that. So that's listed, and you'll always know your grade after every problem. Your MyLab math link. Now, I've linked it inside content, but you can go here and also see the whole list of every assignment. Okay, if you want to do it that way. Let's see if I can get back to. Okay, then there's a tutoring option. I'll talk to you more about that later. Library links, that one's my link to work on, and a help link for other questions you may have. But you'll mainly be here in the content. I think that's your main link. Once you get started, you'll be working here. Always feel free to contact me as we go along. I'm glad to hear from you, and I wish you just the best of success. I hope that you have a great semester, and I'm here if you need.